Hello, loves. I am Amy Hageman, the, creator and host of the Living Out Loud podcast. For this inaugural episode, I thought I should introduce myself, my background, and share a little bit about why I'm starting this podcast and what I hope to create with it. So, as I said, my name is Amy Hageman. I am a wife, an entrepreneur, a mom. I'm currently living in Houston, Texas. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. And I feel as though my life has centered around two main themes: leadership and spirituality. So, growing up, when I was very little, around age 4, my mom became a grad student in the Graduate School of Social Work at the University of Houston. Same program as Brene Brown. Actually, my mom was a couple years older, and my mom had a mentor, Dr. Jean Ladding. And I remember I met Jean, and I swear I saw sparkles all around her. I just loved her. I thought she gave amazing hugs. I thought that when she looked at me, she saw something about me that was there, but that I couldn't see in myself. And I just fell in love with her. And I fell in love with everything that Jean talks about. So I grew up with this amazing mentor who I now come to know as my Aunt Jean. And she has a leadership firm called Leading Consciously. And I grew up learning the skills that she teaches through my mom. In high school, if I came across, some situation with the drill team or some conflict within my friendship group, my mom and I would discuss the skills that she had learned through Jean to help me work through my life. So I was exposed to and, you know, not indoctrinated, but just I had a showering, what's the term when you travel abroad and you're this silly brain. Well, anyway, I was exposed to very high level thorough research regarding leadership and behaviors and how to make your life better. And eventually I would end up pursuing a master's degree. At Case Western, I got a master's of positive organizational development. It's a very unique degree. It is organizational development, and it is a strengths focused degree, hence the MPOD, positive OD. It is the same program that created appreciative inquiry and emotional intelligence coaching. So I have this whole leadership background. It's this theme that started, early in my childhood and continued into my education. Then the second theme has been my spirituality. I grew up at Unity Church here in Houston. Unity Church is based on metaphysical principles. It's looking at the Bible in a metaphysical point of view. It has a strong foundation in affirmative prayer. And in my specific Unity Church, we had a large focus on oneness. When I was coming of age at Unity, my reverend at the time, Howard Caesar, was very much focused in Eastern philosophy. So it was a beautiful blending of metaphysical teachings from the Bible and then Eastern philosophical tradition as well. I was exposed to so much spiritual gold, spiritual wealth, as I call it. And I became a prayer partner at my church. So I have training in affirmative prayer. And I have consistently relied on my background in leadership and my spiritual background to get me through life. And I have seen how I have had an easier time than most. And now some of that is because I'm a privileged middle-class white woman. So obviously that needs to be accounted for. And also, I don't have a lot of childhood trauma that many others do. But also, I have a lot of skills that others do not have because they were not given the same exposure in leadership and research or in spiritual aspects, in connection, in prayer and meditation. So, those two themes, leadership and spirituality, those have been the themes for my life. And I think they will always continue to be themes, whether or not I continue to be an entrepreneur, when my kids get bigger and they, leave the house. They will always be the themes in my life. And I really wanted to bring the two together. And that's what I hope to do in this podcast is I hope to talk about leadership and spirituality. Before I get into that, I need to also tell you that I am a channel and a medium. So if you do not know what that means, a channel is somebody that can connect with non-physical beings, angels, spirit guides, and can talk for them, can allow their body to be used for the energy of the non-physical to come through. So I do what's called readings, intuitive readings, where I work with clients and I talk to their angels and their spirit guides and their loved ones, and they get to ask questions about anything, their soul purpose, their career, their love life, their medical condition, whatever it is. And I ask their angels, and their angels respond. I am not a trance channel. So if you go and you look up channeling, I am not a trance channel. So I am awake and cognizant while I am channeling. I feel like I am actively interpreting the signs and signals and senses that I am receiving. I am also a medium. Mediumship is another form of channeling, but it specifically refers to connecting to people who some would refer to as dead. I would say that they're no longer in their bodies or that they transitioned. But if you have a loved one that has, quote, passed on, that would be someone that I could talk to. Mediumship is a little bit different than channeling in that it's sort of more of a puzzle. I might talk to the client and say, well, they're showing me goblets. What do goblets mean to you? And the client might say, oh, goblets. Oh, there's this story or there's this one time, etc. So with mediumship, I don't always have the answers. I get puzzle pieces and it becomes a three-way conversation between the loved one who is no longer in their body, who is, quote, dead, and my client who is alive and in real time. At this point, since this is the very first episode of this podcast, I don't know whether or not my channeling and mediumship will become a big part of the podcast or not, but it is a big part of my work right now, and it is obviously quite linked to my spirituality, and so I wanted to be upcoming about that. For the purposes of this podcast, when I'm talking about leadership and spirituality and bringing them together, what I mean by that is that I feel like I have these two different worlds, where I have a world in which I talk to people about leadership skills and personal development. And in that world, we're not allowed to talk about religious beliefs, the way people think about how the world works, what they are supported by, if they are supported, the way people think about love and oneness. We can only talk about the skills. How do you do the things? How do you have the conversation? How do you hold people accountable? Then I have this other world in which I have all my spiritual friends and clients, and we talk about spirituality and what God or spirit or the universe, what it means to us. How do we define it? How do we love it? How do we be a part of it? And with a lot of my spiritual friends, I sometimes feel that the learning of the personal development skills, and not always, but I sometimes feel that that's off the table. When things come up that are hard, the skill sets for that group of people are sometimes limited to prayer, meditation, essential oils, Reiki healing. All of that is wonderful and things that I subscribe to. But I really was desperate to bring the two together. I have these two great passions, great themes in my life, leadership and spirituality. And there are so many times when it feels as if they are in different worlds, when I know that they're not. They are one and the same. They overlap. And I also think that if you're talking to people about leadership and personal development, and you're not addressing their belief systems about the way the world works, you have a great missed opportunity. If you are talking to people about their belief systems and the way the world works, but you're not giving them the research based tools for how to change their life, that is also a great missed opportunity. What we believe about the world will help us determine our actions and our results. It will help us determine how we treat people. We need to address belief systems in order to be effective as leaders, as healers, as lights in the world. So, in this podcast, you will hear me address both how to do things differently and what to believe differently in order to experience more love in your life. That is almost the first time I've used the word love in this podcast. We're over 10 minutes in. The Living Out Love podcast. Why living out love? Well, because I essentially think that that's what we're here to do. We're here to experience love from one another, experience divine connection. We are here to make the world a better place, to be love in action. And we are here to experience divine connection in our human form. We're here to have the human experience that we can't have when we're no longer in our bodies. But that's what living out love is all about. It's about being more love in the world. It's about feeling more of the love that's available to you all the time. And it's about creating greater opportunity for you to connect with the divine love that's available to you at all times. So we are going to come at love from all angles, from accepting it in, allowing it in, from creating it, from being it, from leadership, from spirituality, maybe even just dumb luck. We are going to talk about living out love. I am so thrilled that you're here. I am honored to be of service. I am just beyond grateful that you have listened to this podcast. Please subscribe. Please share with your friends. Have a beautiful day, my loves.